Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. Today, I'm going to talk to you all about world energy. According to Sarah Toupé of the Shift Project database, in 2014, 66% of world energy was generated by coal, oil, and natural gas. We use these natural resources for fuel for things like our transportation, factories, heating, and electricity. Coal, oil, and natural gas are considered fossil fuels. They are considered non-renewable, meaning that the world's supply of them will eventually run out. They also cause environmental problems like global warming and health concerns. All of these factors mean that we need to find a way to replace fossil fuels as a primary energy source. I believe that nuclear power is the best alternative source of energy, and we should focus on increasing nuclear production and technology. I'm going to discuss why we need to replace fossil fuels and why nuclear energy is the best alternative. Fossil fuels are formed from the remains of organisms that died millions of years ago. They are considered non-renewable, meaning they will eventually run out. If we run out of fossil fuels, we will have to wait millions more years for more of them. For example, most experts predict that the world's supply of oil will peak between 2020 and 2030 and begin to rapidly decline after that, as you can see in this graph. According to the Institute for Energy Research, fossil fuels have also been associated with several environmental problems. When they are burned, they release gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap sunlight and contribute to global warming. This is called the greenhouse effect, and it has caused an increase in global temperatures. This increase in global temperatures has caused droughts and destroyed the habitats of many animals. The gases emitted by fossil fuels have also caused health problems in many industrial cities, such as Beijing and Mexico City. Energy is one of the most important factors to the world economy. If the supply of energy begins to decrease, the price of energy will increase. If energy prices rise, there could be terrible economic effects, and as can be seen in the energy crisis of the 1970s. It is clear that relying on fossil fuels is not a viable long-term solution. Allow me to describe an alternative solution. Nuclear fission occurs when one atom is fired into another larger atom and split. A large amount of energy is released. The energy is contained in large reactors, and several fission reactions can generate enormous amounts of heat. The heat is directed towards water, and the water is turned into steam. Large amounts of the steam are pressurized and used to turn large turbines, creating electricity. There are many advantages to this process. Nuclear fission can produce large amounts of energy and, barring accidents, causes no environmental harm. Nuclear reactors are used today to provide power for cities, factories, and ships. There are a few disadvantages, however. Nuclear accidents, such as the one at Chernobyl, spread radiation across large areas. This radiation is harmful to plants, animals, and people in the area. The leftovers from fission reactions, called radioactive decay, can be used by terrorists and others to create nuclear weapons. Nuclear fusion is similar to nuclear fission, but there are a few key differences. Instead of splitting apart, two smaller atoms collide and join together, creating one larger atom. This generates even more energy than fission reactions. Although fusion research has not been successful enough to create a working fusion reactor yet, many experts believe the science community is close to a breakthrough. According to Maddie Stone of Gizmodo.com, MIT students were able to break world records for a contained fusion reaction as recently as 2016. Fusion technology is already used in nuclear weapons, so it seems likely that fusion reactors will become a reality in the near future. Fusion has the same advantages of fission power, large amounts of energy with no environmental harm, and similar disadvantages. However, fusion power is capable of generating much more total power at a more efficient rate of production. The usual renewable alternatives to nuclear power all have strong advantages, but they are usually only effective in certain locations. For example, hydroelectric power is created when water currents are run through a dam and are used to push turbines. The Hoover Dam functions this way. This is an effective source of power, but it can only be used in specific locations with strong running water. Similarly, solar power is much less effective at night or on cloudy days. Geothermal power is only effective near volcanoes or hot springs. Wind power is only effective in windy areas and wind turbines are notorious for breaking down. All of these energy sources can be effective in local areas, but they can't produce as much total energy as nuclear power plants. To summarize, the world is on the brink of an energy crisis. As non-renewable sources of energy are depleted, they will become increasingly expensive and eventually run out. Fossil fuels harm the environment. Nuclear fission is currently the most viable source of energy production because of its efficiency and the minimal harm it causes into the environment. Research into nuclear fusion has even more potential and could power the world even longer. I believe that nuclear power is the best source of energy, and we should focus on increasing nuclear production technologies. Again, thank you all for coming.